Hey everyone, 'tis I, Phantom Knight 300, and we're back with another video. It's been a little bit, but we're here with a good one today. So for those of you that know or don't know, my main channel, Phantom Knight 300 underscore S, has started what I call the Resident Evil Marathon. I did something similar with the 2D Metroid games about 4 years ago. I ended up playing Metroid Zero Mission, AM2R, Super Metroid, Metroid Fusion, and ended off with the recent release of Metroid Dread at the time. I ended up playing each game back to back, and, well, I ended up enjoying myself. But this isn't a video on Metroid. The Resident Evil franchise has been a series I've always liked, but I haven't actually played any of them. I was always fascinated with the ongoing story, the characters, and some of the wacky, crazy stuff that happens. Like, come on, Leon Kennedy?
Where's everyone going? Bingo?
Now, the only games I've actually played is Resident Evil 4 Remake and Resident Evil 5. All the other games I've just seen a playthrough or I've seen a story analysis of, or something like that. But now with the Resident Evil Marathon, I'm gonna take a plunge into the darkness. Let me first start with this, though. I do not do very well with horror. I enjoy these franchises from the shadows. Resident Evil, Five Nights at Freddy's, to a smaller extent, Silent Hill. These stories and games are just super fascinating, but I would never touch them with a 10-foot pole. I'm someone that gets scared pretty easily. I've told some stories during the Resident Evil streams, so I'll play one for you right now. Okay. It's a little embarrassing, but I game in my basement, and there's a pipe that goes to the outside. That does, I think it does our air, like air conditioning and stuff. And at one point, a bird landed in there, and that bird couldn't, like, it was trying to get out of the pipe, and all I heard, I think I was just sitting here, and all I heard was, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? What the fuck is going on? And then my brother was there too, and then we just kept hearing that every like couple, like every 10-second interval. We're like, what the fuck is going on? And then we called our dad down because we're shitting bricks. What the fuck is that? And then our dad's like, oh, there's a bird stuck in the pipe, and we're like, okay, let's see if we can break him out. And then we brought him out, literally flew against the wall, and then he flew out the front door. We're like, fuck, holy shit. I was scared of a bird. Actually a bird, you know? Shoot one? Alright, birds, shut the fuck up. Oh, fuck, they're attacking me. Oh, fuck. Oh, shit. No. Wait. Oh, shit. It's like a Coco, dude. It's like a Cuco. Which is why Resident Evil is incredibly out of my comfort zone. I mean, I'm an RPG and Sonic guy. But color me surprised when I'll say right now, Resident Evil Remake was actually super fun. Now, I only ended up doing a Jill playthrough, since whether you play as either Chris or Jill doesn't really change the outcome of the story all that much. There are differences to be sure, but not enough for me to actually play the game again. So, Resident Evil 1. I had this constant thought in my head during the playthrough that I was gonna get jump scared left and right all over the place. I thought that the reason why Resident Evil was scary was because there was gonna be jump scares. And well, the reality is, sure there were jump scares, but that's not the reason why you should be scared. I was scared for a completely different reason. And sure, you had the zombies, you had the Crimson Heads, you had the hunters, and they played a factor, but the reason why I was scared was the game being stressful. Having to deal with the inventory, having to learn how to control the game, having to navigate the Spencer Mansion, and having to deal with limited saves. There was some times that I did end up getting lost, but it was never too hard to the point where I couldn't figure it out. But here's the thing. Even though I was incredibly stressed during the playthrough, I had fun in the end. Let's start with the Spencer Mansion. I honestly thought it was kind of awesome. Every time I stepped into a room, I was not only gawking at the pre-rendered background, but I was trying to figure out any puzzles that might be there, trying to figure out how to get to every item. And as I continued going through the same rooms, I started to realize, I know where I'm going. I don't need the map anymore. You know you have an incredibly designed location when the player starts to remember every room they walk into. Now, I didn't find the courtyard, the residence, or the lab as good, but that's not a bad thing. Those three areas are more linear than the Spencer Mansion, but once again, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Now, I should probably talk about the elephant in the room. Every RE video goes over this. The tank controls. How were they? They honestly weren't that bad. I learned them pretty quick. And sure, by the end, I didn't become Speedy Gonzalez or the Juke Master, but I think controlling your character as a tank oddly added to the stress. You're learning a new control type and you're completely not used to it, but as soon as you start to master it, oh my god, does it feel good. And this is me when I started the game immediately switching to the classic control type. So I don't know what the modded controls for this are like. I thought I was also going to have problems with the ink ribbon system. Now, what is that? Saving in Resident Evil is actually limited. If you want to save your game, you have to use ink ribbons at the typewriter to save. There was one stream during the playthrough where I had no saves, and I had to basically do a pretty sizable chunk of the game without being able to save. And well, it actually made me play smarter. Juke the zombies, save your ammo, save your heals, try not to get hit. But the reality is, by the end of the game, you get quite a bit of saves. You have a ton of ammo, you have a ton of healing. So really, there was no reason to stress whatsoever. And even if I did end up dying, I would have the knowledge to be able to go through and, once again, play smarter. By the time I get back to where I died, I've gotten there faster. So by the end of the game, when I reached the lab and everything, for one, it was shorter than what I thought, but I had so much ammo, I had so much healing, I wasn't scared anymore. But in the end, I had a ton of fun with Resident Evil. Resident Evil Remake, the one I played here. And well, I just started Resident Evil 2 Remake with the Claire A route. So if you guys want to watch me potentially get bodied by Mr. X, go ahead and follow the streaming channel, Phantom9300_S, where I'll be continuing the Resident Evil Marathon, which, by the way, will be Resident Evil 1 Remake, Resident Evil 2 Remake, Resident Evil 3 Remake, Resident Evil 4 Remake, Resident Evil 5, Resident Evil 6, Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil 8, Resident Evil 9. I will not be playing the Revelations games, the spin-offs, or RE0 because there's already 9 games. If you guys want to check out the VODs, I'll leave a link to the playlist in the description, and I'll pin the comment. And without further ado, thank you for watching the video. If you guys liked the video, please remember to leave a like. Comment down below what you guys think of Resident Evil Remake, Classic RE1, or Resident Evil in general. Also consider subscribing here, as I'll probably make a video for each game I go through. Well, until the next video, see you guys later. Peace.